The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Triversity Talk. I'm Wendy on Wednesday, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you tonight. My God, I don't know how we're already into the second week in January when I have to tell you, it's the second week in January, and I feel like I'm 2 months into the new year. I don't know if any of you are feeling that way, but as many of you know, there's so much going on out there, and it often feels like an earthquake from which we will never awake. And I want to give a shout out here, Triversity, the Pride Center, which is located in Milford, Pennsylvania. And of course, this show is named after Triversity, the Pride Center. We service the LGBTQ area in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, upstate, the rural areas. And we are an actual center. We have open hours, we have events, we have game nights. So I always love sharing that with people. And for anyone who is local, who came to our vigil for Renee Good this week, thank you. That was a terrible tragedy. And if you've watched my broadcast before, it's all about community. It's all about coming together, and it is all about supporting each other. And I think we all need to remember in these very trying times, it's really important that we think about the people we know or people that might need help. I know a lot of people are mentally struggling right now. Yeah, I'm just letting it all out tonight because you know what? I'm on social media all the time because of what I do, and I'm just seeing so much stuff. So just bear with me. So reach out to someone that you think maybe needs a phone call or needs somebody else to tell them it's okay. Okay. So tonight's guest, I love people that are advocating and raising awareness out there. And recently, as you know, I'm a member of the Imperial Court of New York, which is a organization, non-for-profit, actually based all over the country. And we raise money for other LGBTQ organizations through performing, through fundraising, and as well as nursing homes. We do incredible work. And we have a show called The 12 Drags of Christmas, which we do every December. And this one was dedicated to one of our amazing members who just a wonderful person, Emperor Ron, who recently passed away from prostate cancer. And the night of our event, I met a wonderful person there from the Pink Nail Society. Now, I had not heard about the Pink Nail Society till we did this fundraiser. And I started talking to this person, love what they're doing, love how they're raising awareness. And as I like to say, love that they're talking about the elephant in the room. So please welcome tonight, Stephen Tendrich.
Hey there.
And there you are. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm nice and warm here in South Florida. How are you?
Okay, you had to start off the show that way. That was just mean. That was just taking salt and rubbing it into the wound because as if you watch, okay, everyone knows I'm obsessed with weather reports. And I always like to see what's going on all over the country. We are about to plummet here. It's going to be like in New York City, like 16 or 20 degrees.
Wow.
I know it's brutal, but you know what? I am based out of here. And then when I go to Milford, Pennsylvania, it's far worse there because it's usually 8 to 10 degrees lower. But you know what? we have bigger fish to fry because we are activists and we want to make things happen, and we're out there trying to do things. And you certainly are. So please welcome to the show. I love that you have those fabulous glasses on, because now you gave me poetic license to put mine on, because I have to tell you, I can't see a blessed thing on this screen most of the time.
Do I look good? Do I look well?
The glasses are just totally fabulous. So, the Pink Nail Society, ironically enough, and I hear of all of these organizations all over the country. I had not heard about you till it was brought to light with the Imperial Court of New York when we did a fundraiser. Can you tell us a little bit about the Pink Nail Society?
I sure can. Thank you for having me on this show.
Absolutely.
And so the Pink Nail Society is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we are dedicated to raising awareness in prostate cancer health. Okay, that's our mission. I started the Pink Nail Society for my father, who is a survivor. It all started in Fire Island, New York on 4th of July for the invasion in Cherry Grove.
Oh, stop. I didn't even, okay. I was reading about you, but I didn't see that in there. This scenario is worth everything. So during the invasion of the Pines.
Yes. Yeah. I was bartending actually. And, you know, we're surrounded by so many people. I get a phone call from my father and he says, you know, Stephen, I want you to come to Florida and be with me because I just don't feel like a man anymore. Now, the prostate cancer wasn't new. It had already been 3 years.
Okay, so we had been, I just want to backtrack a little because this is a phrase I hear all the time. He was managing the prostate cancer, right? And I want to get into the medical stuff after, but yes, please go on. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, so I said, you know what can I do to give him some confidence? And, you know, I'm looking at everybody's makeup and nail polish. I'm like, you know, let me get some pink nail polish. So I painted my pinky. And I sent him a picture on my phone and I said, hey, Dad, look, I'm still a man with a little nail polish. And it gave him confidence.
I love this story. How old was your dad when he was first diagnosed?
I would believe it was 2011. So he was like in his 60s.
Ah, that's the magic number, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
They say to get screened from 40 to 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
So his reaction when he saw your pink nail, it probably made him laugh, right?
It did. And I didn't think that he would actually take this movement that started and bring it to the public. He started painting nails at a local coffee shop. I'm just raising awareness. And that just brought tears to my eyes, and it gives me goosebumps to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Your dad is an ally or LGBTQ?
Oh, definitely. He supports the community.
He's an ally.
He's an ally.
Yeah, great. And he started painting nails. There's so much in this story, pardon the pun, that takes a lot of balls. First of all, his pardon the pun, his acceptance of the pinky nail with you, you know, speaks volumes about his love for his son and respect as a man, right? And then he started to pay it forward by painting people's nails to make them aware of it.
Right. I mean, he had a little poster of myself, my mom, and him without pinky nails, and just showing people what the mission is all about. I was blown away. You know, just a little nail polish goes a long way.
Yeah, this is like, I'm really impressed about your dad, how loving a gesture for his entire family. You know, as you know, there's a lot of people that would have not been so open about it. And of course, you know, his relationship with you, right? Not being open. There's lots of parents still that are not open if they have a gay child, or they're somewhat open. You're very blessed, I have to tell you. And I think that's part of the reason you are able to just like push this forward and raise this awareness. But when I was reading about you, you just have a background of that.
I do. I do. I mean, all my life, I've always been contributing to the community. Since I was a teenager, I would clean up the highways with the.
Yeah, you did adopt the highway. Well, you were adopting.
I was adopting the highway. And I was with my friends. It was fun. I enjoyed feeding the homeless at times with, a local nonprofit like Broward Partnership or
Sure.
United Church of Christ in Fort Lauderdale. I also like to collaborate the Pink Now Society, myself, Eric Chillen, the vice president, John Gordon, the secretary. We like to get together and just be out there and help out the community, especially with the Imperial Court of South Florida.
Oh, they're great. Yeah,
They're great.
and as I said, it is, as you know, it's a nationwide organization. Yeah, and we have an event coming up with the Imperial Court of South Florida very soon. We're
Right.
having a coronation happening there.
Oh,
But
yes.
yeah, I think the important thing is we are talking about organizations that do advocacy to raise awareness, and they have to make a difference. You're very impressive that you were aware, even as a teenager, hey, I'll get out there and I'll clean up the highways. There are a lot of teenagers and a lot of people, even now in general, that they don't feel any call to action. There are people like us that I've been a call to action person, literally, I think since I was 10 years of age. I always thought, well, why can't we fix this? And why can't we fix that? And, my mother would say to me, you can't fix everything, Wendy. I'm still that fixer. I won't take no for an answer. And I don't care if I have to go down trying. I will go down trying.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, but that's something that you can totally relate to. Now, along the way in all of this, you learned American Sign Language, ASL.
I did. So there is deafness in the family. So
Okay.
yes, we all have a certain amount of deafness. I'm being one of them. I'm hard of hearing myself. And but some people don't even notice that. And
Absolutely, not even a little bit. And I'm going to tell you why I'm very sensitive to that. This is crazy, but I have had a parrot for 45 years. And her favorite thing is, right, you're laughing because you live in Florida. I'm sure you've heard this story. Her favorite thing is to be on my shoulder and scream at the highest decibel, hello! Do you know, she this ear over here ain't so great. And if you're deaf, and probably more deaf than I am, but when you go out to eat, you have to put people on your good side, on your good ear. Right. But somebody also pointed out to me, when I'm talking to people, sometimes I move my mouth when they're talking because I think I'm reading their lips.
Well, it's funny you say that because, we read lips no matter what. It's almost automatic.
Human beings do, yeah.
Right. During COVID, we all were wearing a mask, right? Kept on saying, what? I can't hear you. Even though you could, but you're just so used to reading your lips.
Yeah, exactly. And COVID, that is a really, really good point, because but there were two things that happened with that. Not only could we not read lips, but this drove me crazy. You have a really good voice that comes from here, the diaphragm, right?
Oh, okay.
Up in New York, they freaking mumble.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They would mumble into their mask, or you would go into a doctor's office and the head would be down, mumbling into the mask. You know what? Take no prisoners on my end. I would say to them, honey, you need to sit up. You need to speak louder. You're wearing a mask. No one can hear you. But
it was frustrating.
That, right? You're there with that, right?
I mean, remember the one that they came out with, the clear ones, so you could see their lips?
Right.
That didn't last long.
Right. No, it did. That didn't go over big. But you're such a fabulous guest. I love you. I could talk to you forever. But within your whole background, somewhere along the way, you decided to take this Pink Now thing and push it further and start a non-for-profit. Why did you think this was so needed?
I thought this was so needed. That's a great question. And everyone should pay attention to this, because cancer sucks, right? This is exactly what we said at the 12 Drags Christmas. It's becoming more prevalent, so because people are living longer. We don't have access to healthcare. There's a lot of dynamics, a lot of aspects of life that we're not being given.
Right.
Okay. And so we're making this. We wanted to make a stand for men transgender women, male to female, impersonators, drag queens. I mean, the ones that have the prostate, and we
Right,
need to be more
exactly.
aware of it.
So when I was reading that, I read that sentence over a few times. I'm going to tell you why. And this is my bad. I thought to myself, my God, okay, female, I'm sorry, male to female. I have a number of friends, male to female. We've never had this discussion. Never. And it should be evident, but we never had that discussion. And then I was thinking, well, come on, if you're a drag performer or a female male impersonator, of course you know, when you think of your innards, you're going to think about having a prostate. Of course you would check up on that. But you made me start to think, maybe it's not so evident to people. Maybe it's just kind of swept away. And then I started talking to men, ally men, gay men, or whatever. And what I was finding out, it is the elephant in the room. Like people are, and it's kind of like, remember the way cancer was back in my mom's day, which was decades ago. Oh, so-and-so has cancer. You would sweep it under the rug. I kind of feel like prostate cancer is being dealt with in the same way.
Definitely. I agree 100%. I mean, there's not that many organizations out there that are focused on prostate cancer.
No, I know. Is it because it's not sexy or pretty, or is it because I had so many things go through my head. Is it a cultural thing because it's connected to men, and men are supposed to be strong and infallible? I'm using stereotypes now, but I'm trying to figure out all the reasons. No one's having this discussion. I can tell you a lot of the men that I'm friends with, and you can imagine there's tons of them. They're not talking about this. I'm the one bringing it up all the time. I've become crazy with this. I'm like, you need to have your prostate checked. And then I'm finding out from one of my really close friends, he said, well, the doctor told me I'm just fine. I'm like, well, did they do the test where, you know, they insert their fingers and see what's going on?
Exam. Yeah.
They're not doing that, he told me. Is this true all over? Or tell me
it is, because I find that's, you know, I mean, excuse me for saying this, but in the medical world, they're not really examining you. It's like they don't want to touch you.
Oh my God, I completely agree with you like that. Right. It's kind of become, they check their computer when you go in, right? Because it's all on the computer, or telemedicine. Jesus
Christ.
Wait,
right. Why don't you want to touch me? I'm, you know, don't you want to see how I'm feeling? I mean, luckily we have a doctor that does, you know, examine us, but we shouldn't have to ask you. It seems like you have to ask them. Like, I have to ask you to give me a digital rectal exam.
Well, okay. And my friend actually asked, and the doctor said, oh, no, you're fine. And I said to my friend, listen, I want you to go elsewhere. I want you to get names from, we have friends that have doctors that are more thorough. Just like you said, you have a really good doctor. Yeah. We need to start referring people to those doctors, because the other thing is unacceptable. When I tell you right now, I know 9 people with prostate cancer. That's the 9 that I know of. What about all the other ones that, you know, they've got stuff going on? We all hear all the time, oh, my prostate's enlarged. What exactly does that mean?
So enlarged prostates is very common, especially, you know, in older men.
Right.
It just happens naturally. African-American men are susceptible to enlarged prostates. And to be honest, you know, 1 in 5 will develop the disease for African-American men.
Okay, that's a huge statistic. So we will see on the subway about women's fibroids geared towards the African-American population, because there is more of a susceptibility. But you just gave me a statistic. I don't see this anywhere. Why not?
Exactly. Why not?
Why not?
Key. Awareness is key. We hold that key to open those doors to possibilities.
Right.
That is so important. And, you know, if no one else is doing it, then who is? That's why we're here. We're the Pink Now Society. We're here to share that message so everyone can go get screened. It's very simple. The screening process doesn't take that long.
So can you share the screening process with us?
Yeah, so it shouldn't take more than longer than 10 minutes. called the PSA, the prostate specific antigen test.
It's like a public service announcement. I'm sorry. You just threw that one in my lap. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, right? PSA, exactly. You know, I used to do radio in my youth. And
I know. I was going to get into that after, but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's just so much fun. Yeah, so basically, you know, you get the blood work done, and you're given a number, and a number can fluctuate from like 0 all the way to the 20s.
right.
My father, when he got screened for the first time, his doctor said, "Your PSA is at 22, so high."
Right.
And,
Right.
and of course, my dad is clueless because he didn't talk about his prostate. He didn't talk about his private parts. He didn't have anybody else to talk to about it.
This is okay, but your dad is from a certain generation, so
Yes.
he totally gets a pass on that. But what's blowing me away, and I really want to go back to this number and how the numbers derived at, but what's blowing me away is, you know, modern guys, you know, nowadays, I don't get what the secret or the stigma is, you know, especially in the LGBTQ community. I'm going to single that community out because we talk all the time about, you know, using rubbers when you're having anal sex. We've been through AIDS. People are still, you know, we talk about those things. Why do people feel they're scot-free and don't want to talk about this?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's just because they don't want to hear about it. You know, it's like taking away their manhood. And that's why my father said, "I don't feel like a man." He felt a loss of masculinity.
Right.
So I don't know what that's like. I still have my prostate. So for someone who's transgender or male to female, I don't know what they're going to feel like if they don't have their prostate.
Right.
So,
Right. That's a hard one. And I'm going to talk with some of the transgender guys that I'm friends with because I'm always uncovering new things to talk about. And that's a good one. I haven't even heard that from anybody on my shows. I have heard female to male getting the uterus removed. I've heard that a lot. So why wouldn't we want to do the same? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why wouldn't we want to do the same I don't know. Wow.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's like, okay, it's there. You have a prostate. Okay,
Right.
you know, it's inevitable. You could possibly contract prostate cancer. So, and those who are taking hormones, you know, that could affect your prostate as well.
Absolutely. 150%. And I will tell you, with all of the different people I've had on the show, and we talk about the hormones are amazing what they can do.
Mhm.
However, and by the way, I take bioidentical hormones. I've been on them for 18 years. Suzanne Summers was the first person that brought them to light. They're part of, I hate using the word anti-aging, but they will keep your energy going. They'll, you know, I take testosterone. I take all the stuff that a number of my trans friends take in a different, you know, amount. But however, we talk about the amazing thing that hormones can do, but no one really talks about that statistic, that cancer statistic, right?
Right, exactly.
Why not?
I mean, 1 in 9 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Right.
In the US. And, you know, it's just all about awareness, early detection. You know, that's important. That's vital to our community.
Right. So I want to go back to the early detection and those numbers that you called out. So your father was at 22. That's a high, very dangerous number. And they had to completely remove the prostate.
Well, sorry. Yeah.
No, I mean, go ahead, because you know far more about this than I do.
So he got a second opinion, thankfully, from my grandfather. He said, "No, we're going to go see my doctor." And so his doctor screened him and said, "You know, Donald, your PSA is really high. We're going to have to remove your prostate because the cancer is spreading."
Right.
So it metastasized, and my dad had no choice. He had it removed, and it was not a pleasant experience, the whole post-surgery. And, you know, because there's so many things. They put a catheter in there. And then,
I know.
you know, it's like, and then to this day, he has to wear a diaper.
Right.
And I have to share that because this could happen to you if you don't catch it early enough.
No, I know this is certainly a reason for people to get on it. Had your dad ever been screened?
I don't think so, to be honest.
And your dad, I'm sure, though, had a physical every year or.
Right. And, being his, yeah, it's like, what? It got to 22.
Right. With going for physicals, and maybe he had other things going on, and nobody, this, I tell you, this flips me out and makes me angry to no degree, because it's exactly what you said. They're not touching you. I know, according to insurance, they're not supposed to spend more than 15 minutes with you. Up here in New York, now I don't know about Florida, but I just got something from my urologist that she's going into possibly concierge medicine. What do we think of that? I didn't want to write down what I thought of that. We are now getting into, I'm sorry, I'm going to go down this political hole, elitist medicine for people that can afford it. Jesus Christ, that's terrible.
It is. And, good point I'm glad you brought that up, because we are looking forward to collaborating with a local clinic called Mayfair Medical. And, they really focus on our community and just, not just the LGBTQ, but also the whole population. And they focus on assisting patients who can't afford the visits and medicine.
How
and
wonderful.
This is where we want to come in and assist them with patients that need to get PSA screenings and who can't afford them.
Right.
Yeah.
So if a patient in the rest of the world, if they can't get that PSA done, then that's it. They could have that cancer growing in there, and then they get to 22, and it's like they have to have the whole kit and caboodle removed.
Right.
And God forbid it spreads to the rest of your body. I mean, our person that we had the fundraiser for had been diagnosed. I don't know anything about their stage, but I know they were diagnosed basically a year before or so. Right. And then they were gone. And it's just absolutely awful. It really is, because I feel, I was reading something today about, it was in one of the reliable news publications, and it was about all the cancer treatments that are now available and how incredible it is and how people are living longer and all of that. So if they can come up with that, why can't we have something that's far less expensive than a screening for prostate cancer?
Agreed. I guess it's all about money, right?
It's about money.
It's about money. These companies have to make money. I don't want to make any names, but sometimes money makes the world go round.
Right.
That's why we work with University of Miami too, who they have a vehicle called the Game Changer.
Right. I read about that. Yeah. Ty, can you share with our audience what that is?
Sure. It's Sylvester Cancer Center in Miami, University of Miami. They come around with this Game Changer van that people can go on there and get screened for the PSA free of charge. Okay, your cholesterol, your blood work, and your sugar, and they just take your PSA and send it out to a lab, and then they contact you with the results.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are programs out there.
So right, and I love giving shout outs to University of Miami for that, and the Mayfair Clinic in Broward County. Is that?
Yes.
That's amazing. How will they fund this work? That's the next question.
Mayfair Medical or you?
Mayfair Medical, how do they're offering a service. How do they get it paid for?
So they have other benefactors that come into play. They have donors that support money. Like we're going to be supporting them as well. I mean, that's what they rely on. It costs money to run an office, to have a staff.
100%, but you just use the magic word, donors. So when we're constantly, especially now, being made aware of all the billionaires that are in this country, that's your answer. They wouldn't even feel it, and they could turn around and start to support. I got to tell you, if I win Lotto tomorrow, and Stephen, you're my witness, there are so many things like this that I would want to use the money to fund. Wouldn't that be great to
It
be
would
able
be
to
great.
help people? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about, helping each other out.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, I never felt like I needed to be number one. Okay. You would just need to help each other. And we're all here for the same reason.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But the help each other thing, it's really interesting because, lately in these times, there are people that have incredible, quote unquote, Christian values for
Mhm.
real. All right. They do want to help people out and they're doing that. But then often the other side of the coin is their politics, right? So it's not pure Christian values. It's limited in terms of what they will do. And I guess what I'm constantly questioning, I feel we can all make a difference. I was a kid that would send dollar donations to the International Fund for Animal Welfare because of the seal hunt.
Yeah.
I would get those postcards in the mail, those godforsaken, they were horrible, right? But it was a little kid,
Yeah.
and my mother was like, why are you doing this? And I grew up, my parents were wonderful. My dad did so much to raise awareness. He helped start busing. My dad was incredibly liberal, but my mother often would say, Wendy, charity begins at home. But I never felt that way. Even now, no matter what I'm doing, I know it's never enough. And I always find people that like, oh my God, look at what they're doing.
Right.
What makes us tick, that makes us want to do? Like, okay, in your case, it did hit close to home.
Mhm.
But when I look at your whole entire background, you saw stuff, you cared, and something in you, Stephen, thought you could make a difference. What makes you think that about yourself?
I'll tell you what it was. Growing up was challenging.
Okay.
We didn't have much money. Okay. So it was tough, I have to tell you.
And where did you grow up?
Well, actually, I actually grew up in Florida.
You did. You were
Yeah.
okay.
I
Right.
grew up in Florida, and then I moved to New York years later.
Right. But
You
Florida
know,
was home base.
yes, exactly. And my grandparents are from New York. Um, and I've always felt like a connection to New York.
Of course.
Yes, and so yeah, because of that, when I knew that we were just meeting, what we can make to survive in the world. It was a challenge, okay,
Yeah.
and I think that molded me to who I am today.
Yeah.
To want to help others who are less fortunate, helping, flying to Africa to teach deaf children how to write English. That was life
Amazing.
changing for me.
Right.
And
Which part of Africa did you fly to?
it was Africa. It was Ghana.
So I've worked in Ghana, in Nigeria,
Really?
in Cameroon, and in Ethiopia. And I am right there with you. I so love, first of all, what you are providing, they really need over there. If you're working with those cultures, there's a lot of stigma, especially when you start dealing with children that are deaf.
Right. And
wow.
I feel like I'm in New York all of a sudden. So, working with the African children who are deaf, a lot of them didn't even have parents at all.
No, they didn't.
Most of them were murdered. They were killed for whatever reason. And, I just have a connection to the deaf community because we grew up learning sign language. We communicated that way.
Yeah.
And it's a part of me, and I will never forget it. And I've taught ASL in colleges, and and because I can sign, I can impart the knowledge about prostate cancer to the deaf community as well.
No, this is like the more you talk, the more incredible it gets because you have a skill that I'm sure dealing with deafness as a child was challenging as anything. But look at what you turned into, the ability to sign. I mean, to go to a place like Africa, which I can't get into it. That's a whole other thing about babies that are thrust out of villages and are picked up by NGOs because the baby was born in some way, that it wasn't perfect, and the village would think the baby was going to put a curse on their crops growing. I've seen, trust me, I have seen it all.
Oh, it's
So
true. It's such a stigma.
it's right. And again, this is not, when you're in the cities, it's different. But the fact that you went there and did this is such a huge thing to make a difference in the world, and to give kids a fighting chance.
It's true. And what really got to me is, I was there for 3 weeks. On my last day, it was time to go back to the United States. I get into my car. They picked me up in a taxi.
Of course, yeah.
And then all the kids are running after the taxi because they know they're not going to see you again.
I could see that scene. I have seen that scene myself. Yeah, it's amazing. There's a pureness to the children that live in the villages there, basically because they don't have anything. And again, this is not wealthy people that live in the capital. We're talking about children that live in the villages. I spent most of my time in the villages in those places. And the children are absolutely really special. You gave them an incredible gift. Were you able to stay in touch with any of those kids?
The kids know, the teachers, yes.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes. And after time, we just lost touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just lost touch.
That happens. But amazing story, and amazing to give back that way, It's funny, you said in your own family it was very challenging not having, right? And that's what made you aware. And then you went to a place where a lot of people really don't have, they absolutely don't have. And you were able to bring an incredible gift to them. That's wonderful.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Yeah.
It's truly an honor.
Absolutely. So in terms of the educational programs that you do, where do you do them?
Okay, so we actually just recently had a coffee chat at the United Church of Christ in Fort Lauderdale, where people, joined us, and we educated them on who we are, about prostate cancer and how they can get screened and how they can help others go through it. And that was part of our education. Also, doing pop-up events with University of Miami.
Cool.
We have people that come in and get screened on demand. We hand out information about prostate cancer and health. Actually, we are having our second annual masquerade ball.
Yes, I shared your flyer.
It's so exciting. Last year was phenomenal. We raised over $20,000 at the event, and we've raised over so far $30,000 for prostate cancer research.
Incredible. I love that you're having this is your second year with the event.
Second year. It's going to be held at Hunter's in Wilton Manors, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to have singers. We're going to have our host, Eric Restivo, hosting it. We'll have Mix Bouvier. We'll have Kitty Meow. We're going to have Jonathan McLean, and, myself and Eric Chillen and John Gordon. We're just working so hard to make this come to fruition.
Oh, but it's so great. And I think what I love the most, especially when we're dealing with the LGBTQ community, and I talk about this a lot. One of the reasons I've been able to immerse, I give events and parties geared towards them. They are social animals. People love to party. You're always going to find people that want to have dinner with their partner and not have anything to do with you. But that's not the world I come from. Right. I come from the world of amazing gay pride parties, Imperial Court event. It's all about like community, having great parties, raising money and stuff like that. In your case, I think that's a really amazing way to raise awareness, considering, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but when I was in Fort Lauderdale, I went, this was like 8 years ago. My sister came down with me, or maybe it was 10, but I went to visit my Wilton Manor friends, and we went to Rosie's. My sister ordered a, what's that tomato drip? Bloody Mary. And it had too much spice in it. Her throat started closing up, and she was choking. And I was like, what do I do? And all of a sudden the waiter flew out of nowhere, grabs her around her waist and does the Heimlich maneuver. And She was okay, thank God. And I looked at him. I'm like, oh my God, how did you know to do that? He said, honey, look around you. The ambulance is here every week. He said, we all have to know how to do that.
Exactly.
Stephen, I have to tell you, it was so funny. And we'll talk about the age demographic down there. I mean, it is definitely a demographic that can be hit by prostate cancer.
Oh, definitely. I mean, look, Florida is a vacation spot. It's
and a retirement spot.
Yeah, it truly is. And I don't care what anybody says. I love it here. We have the beaches, the sunshine, like 85% of the year.
Right.
I mean, we're getting a cold snap this weekend. It should be in the 40s, but
my friends that are down there are bitching and moaning when it goes into the 40s. You would think, the few winters I spent down there, because I lived in Fort Lauderdale for a little bit and went to Broward Community College. I remember it felt worse because the buildings are so low and the wind would whip through, and you don't have, big trees, the palm trees. So everything, the coldness, you could really feel it. It was very penetrating.
And it's damp here as well.
Yes, absolutely.
That doesn't help it at all.
Right. That humidity turns to dampness when it absolutely gets cold. But I'm happy to hear you say that you love living down there. I have a lot of transplant friends that are there, and they came actually from Pennsylvania, and a whole bunch of them. Now a couple of them have moved to Mexico. I don't have to tell you the reason why, but you can figure it out. But warm weather is everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a lovely place. It's not for everyone. Okay?
Right. Yeah, but not every place. Like you said to me, what am I doing up in New York? Because I can make so much stuff happen up here. Yeah, this is where I can do it all. And but you hear me bitch and moan about the weather here. I am not a cold weather person. They gave those low temperatures for next week. I already have my wardrobe like hanging out there, like what I'm going to wear, because I'm so freaked out about the amount of layers I'm going to have to put on. And Friday night is my big birthday party in New York, and it is big. And I've got this scantily clad little dress, and it's supposed to be 16 degrees. And I'm like, God damn it. But I will tell you, and your drag queens will share this with you, when you put a wig on, or in my case, when you put two wigs on, well, I learned from Lady Bunny, she wears them well. Yeah. But if you put two wigs on, you don't feel the cold.
Maybe I should do that.
I'm sharing that tip with you, like right here, right here, right now. Anyway, looking to see if I can never find the comments on here. After 5 years, I still.
Are there comments on here?
Yeah, there are, or people try and comment. I still don't have this totally down, which is why I have a producer that I work with, but it's okay. I get amazing information out there.
Okay.
And I love being for Talk for TV, because we're all over the country, and what you shared tonight will save lives. I know that's like maybe presumptuous to say that, but taking this out of the wrapper that it's in and putting it on the table is telling people, hey, this is a reality that could happen to you, but you can stop it from happening.
Right.
Exactly. Now, are you familiar, Stephen, with the treatments that are available? I see. Okay, here's another thing. I see advertisements all the time for Cyberknife. We all do, and all of these quote unquote treatments. Is this making people think, oh, this is totally treatable, I can just ignore it?
No, I mean, you have to be your own advocate. Honestly,
you have to be your own advocate. Absolutely.
You do. Absolutely. That's the best advice we could give the world. Whether you go to the doctor and they say, all right, your PSA is low, I don't think you're at risk. Okay. That's very possible. I mean, it's rare that you're going to get cancer with a low PSA. I mean,
right.
It's just, if you come from a family that has prostate cancer, get screened. I get checked once a year. Okay?
Well, that was going to be my next thing. So I personally, I lost my husband to lung cancer, and his sister died at the same age, 83, of lung cancer. And we found out that she had a certain gene, and we found out Alan had that gene too. So I think one of the things we have to bring to light here is if this stuff is running in your family, and again, a lot of families don't want to talk about this, but damn it, ask questions. If you got a lot of people that have cancer in your family, get yourself checked.
Correct. I mean, there's, treatment like there's, advanced hormone treatments. There's obviously radiation, and there's the MRI treatment, and there's cryotherapy. There's multiple treatments. You just got to choose which one's the best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would imagine some are better than others. And in some areas, it's not offered. Everything's not offered everywhere.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. Definitely.
Right. Is there, from the treatments that you're aware of, is there one that, from what you've heard, seems to work better than others?
I believe that I've heard the cryotherapy works.
Cryotherapy, right.
Freeze the cells inside.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It really is. And also there is the MRI treatment as well that seems to be less invasive as well.
Okay. Less invasive, I think, is key. One of the things, and we did touch on it, is what happens to a person's masculinity if they have to have the prostate removed. And from what I've been told, radiation can also do a number on you too.
I mean, here's your prostate. It's like a walnut. Your prostate is like a little walnut, and you have nerves all around. We have nerves everywhere.
Of course.
And then if somehow the radiation touches some of those nerves, it could damage them.
You could.
Which is what happened to my father. And so, he has to deal with wearing a diaper, and he has a constant drip at times. So he's constantly changing his diapers. And, they say that you could take Viagra if need be, but he doesn't want to do that. It's not for everyone, because he thinks that the Viagra is just going to escalate to more issues.
Right. I didn't even think about that. Right. It could certainly escalate to more issues.
It's all about education. Don't wait for a doctor to tell you what to do. You need to be your own advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't wait for a doctor to tell you what to do. You be your own advocate. Now, do you have like pamphlets that you drop off at centers and things like that?
Yes. So
let's see those pamphlets. See, I didn't even know you had that pamphlet.
We have our new pamphlet. We just had it done. And, we have our little group photo. Let me just get this done.
Yeah, let's show the group photo because it's super cute. I love it.
I love it. And we have magnets. We have little cards that we hand out.
You got merch.
Merch, stickers. We have hats. I mean,
beautiful.
Did you say that you're going to be in town for the coronation for the Imperial?
I am not, but I know it's coming up. I think it's like January 24th, but I'm just going off of memory. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Well, with everything I have up here, with all the events I do, why would I remember that?
You're amazing. That's why. And we had the masquerade about, who's that cutie?
Oh, that's Nugget. Nugget, when I get on here towards the end of the broadcast, he knows when I'm getting towards the end, he can time it. So he knows he's going to get a treat for being a good boy. Let me see what you just held up.
This is our masquerade ball ticket. We would love to give you one if you can make it. February 26th.
February 24th?
2026, 2026. And you can go online on flockfestevents.org and just buy your tickets on there. We've sold almost 100 tickets so far already.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow, how very cool. I love your outreach. I totally love that you're doing this. And from everything you've told me, this can only get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I feel like you can be the one to put prostate cancer on the map where it's talked about and dealt with. Listen, the more outreach you do, that's what it's all about. You're starting in Fort Lauderdale, but excuse me, we've got a whole country here of people that are being diagnosed every day. 1 out of every 9, something like 53% are going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer. Exactly.
And that number is going to get higher, especially because, like I said before, people are living longer. People are not, don't have access to health benefits. And we just need more awareness and more education.
Well, that's what the Pink Nail Society is all about. You have been, I love it. Let's show our pinkies, our Pinkie Swear To Care.
Prostate cancer to finger.
Right? I only did one, and then I did the middle finger. I don't know, because I thought I was being funny. I want to get
I was worried about that for a second.
before we say adieu. So just right into my camera. Take a couple. Come on, camera. Ah.
You got it?
One more. Cool. Thank you. You've been terrific. I knew from the moment I met you. I'm glad we connected. This is what community is all about. This is what fundraising is about. You know, if you're sitting home and you're bored and you want to make a difference, it takes so little to join an organization, table events, you know. We can all do something. We can all do our part.
I agree. 1,000%.
1,000%. Thank you so much, Stephen Tendrich. And thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. We'll be back next week. So stay warm, unless you live in Florida. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.